It doesn't look like she's doing that. I mean, Gina, you look at these polls. Bernie Sanders is killing it in New Hampshire, now surpassing her. And I think the Democrats are looking around at each other and saying, we need to do better. Am I right?
I think so, too. I think when you have, basically the first three descriptors that Americans can think of, basically calling Hillary a liar, it doesn't leave her a lot of room to try to fix these blunders. If the American people aren't going to believe what she says anyway, how in the world is she going to sell that she's not responsible for basically what has become scandal after scandal after scandal? It doesn't seem possible.
Do we have some of that recent polling we can show folks that you can see now that Bernie Sanders has pulled ahead in New Hampshire? Meanwhile, the first three words, let's go to those first three words that people think of when they think of Hillary Clinton: liar, dishonest, and Steve Forbes, untrustworthy. I don't know how she wins the presidency and, frankly, even the nomination from the Democratic Party when those are the things that describe her.
Yeah, and that's why Biden is looking going into this race. That's why John Kerry at night looks in the mirror and says, I was deprived 10 years ago. Why not? Why Al Gore even starts muttering about it. And as been pointed out, the amazing thing is all these candidates and putative candidates, potential candidates, are all eligible for Social Security. This shows how the Democratic Party lacks a real bench. So, yeah, they want another candidate. But who? Elizabeth Warren, the one they all pine for, so far has been playing reluctant.
Joe Biden, he may be their best bet. I mean, let's not forget, everyone, politics also comes down to likability. People gotta like you, and they gotta trust you. I mean, I suppose this is one of the reasons why we have seen Donald Trump succeed so far. There's something that people like about him. They like the fact that he's unpredictable. They like the fact that he kind of says whatever he thinks, and they like the fact, Gina, that he's not a politician.
They do, and you hold that up to the guys that are looking at running for this seat on the other side, and you don't really have that charisma. You certainly don't have that common guy factor, and you really, sadly, don't have. I mean, I think that Donald Trump, love him or hate him, his guttural honesty is what has pinned this label on Hillary so well that it's literally the top three descriptors, not just the first, but the top three descriptors of her when surveyed. So I think, how then do you put somebody up against a Donald Trump or a Ted Cruz who have all this charisma and sort of this glow about them, who is an Al Gore or,
or John Kerry. I mean, I think this was John Kerry's problem when he ran before. People didn't connect with him. And this is a guy who was espousing all the liberal Democratic policies. And yet the people that he was trying to help through these policies, they said, you're not one of us. I don't get you. I don't understand you. And on the other hand, Sean, you got people on, I would say, both sides of the aisle right now that are feeling like that Donald Trump, he's not a billionaire. He's one with them. Why and how is that?
Well, you're just watching people show their true emotions about, government in America right now. I mean, he is really attracting those people that are tired of hearing things and not seeing things. So the other thing is he's benefiting off of his celebrity. I mean, and the numbers are higher than people thought they would be. The question is whether he's willing to invest some of those billions of dollars, but certainly hundreds of millions of dollars into Super Tuesday. And if he can survive that, I think everybody who's talking about Donald Trump not being a real candidate will be speaking something entirely different.
Well, I heard him yesterday there as he gave that press conference or rather that speech to the Chamber of Commerce there in South Carolina. And he almost sounded evangelical. And it was a big part of, if you have me as president, I will make this country so proud. You will be so proud. Saturday Night Live is going to have a lot of fun with this. But anyway, Sean and Gina, thank you very much. We're going to see you a little bit later in the hour. Good stuff. Joining me right now is best-selling author Gina Loudon, talk show host Sean Pittman, as we try and think about, Gina, just exactly what might be in this. Do you anticipate that it's going to be perhaps a flat tax?
I think that would be a great choice on his part. I think that resonates with the American public, and I think he's in the most beautiful position of any other candidate, that he is so independent of Wall Street, that he can make these, grandiose statements that he knows aren't going to dry up his donor base, right? And so,
but he doesn't need them. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so I wouldn't be surprised. I love that he's using the word simplification, because that terminology is going to resonate with the middle class and the voters, especially on the GOP side.
It's fascinating to me, this sort of return of the flat tax, Sean. We've seen now several candidates push that forward. Rand Paul, of course, comes to mind. I think people have had it with the 70,000 plus pages of code.
Oh, yeah. And I think, Donald Trump is finally, sounds like he's getting some real political advice now, because he's, in 2011, in his book, he talked about a tax plan that talked about the flat tax. It talked about penalizing corporations who send jobs overseas. But now he seems to be talking directly to the middle class and talking to people about simplifying the tax code. Who wouldn't want to simplify it? I mean, if you ever sat down and
I know who doesn't want to simplify it. I know the accounting firms don't want to simplify it. They make a lot of money off of this. And special interest
firms are the only ones that are having a problem here.
Yeah,
but,
and special interest.
Give him credit for that.
I do give him credit for that. And I think it gets back to what Gina was saying earlier. It's kind of nice to see someone out there who is his own man. How long, though, does that really last? At some point, Gina, will he need to pay attention to polling data that says Americans feel this way or that on particular issues?
I think he is such a different candidate from anyone we've ever really seen. And I think really what Americans are enjoying about him is that he doesn't seem to be particularly pandering to the traditional groups that the elite in Washington, D.C. have always said the GOP candidates need to compromise with and pander to. So I don't really foresee him, being one of those that licks his finger and sticks it in the air to see what the voters think. I think he's been listening a long time. Mm-hmm. I think he's saying the things the voters want to say, want to hear. And I also think he's doing this really smart thing, this teaming up with Cruz thing that has the attention captivated just when we thought we might run out of what's interesting about Trump.
Yeah, they're going to have that rally together to protest the Iran deal. Sean, before we go, has there ever been a candidate quite like him in history? I mean, I think in modern history, to me anyway, Ross Perot may be the guy that comes to mind. But, I mean, anyone that has embodied this sort of, I don't care what they think attitude to the extent that he does? Sure. But what we're dealing with is not really the candidate. What we're dealing with is America. America has changed. I mean, people they hear him. I mean, look at the other candidates that are trying to be Trump. I mean, it's not working for them. Trump is being exactly who he is. The numbers, there's still more people voting for who want to vote for other people than Trump. But it's working because the American population has gotten fed up with politicians in general. Yeah, I had to hand it to him yesterday. I mean, it was hysterical to watch. The whole hair thing. You saw him try to prove that it's not a toupee, and he brought someone up from the audience. I was kind of wondering why she didn't grab it a little harder, though, because everybody's still kind of wondering. Anyway, Gina, Sean, thank you so much. Good to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, breaking news, everyone. We've got you.